Sis to sis.
Hi guys, welcome back to Sister Sis. It's been a little while, taking a bit of break with all the adjustments that's been going on in life, taking a step back and just sort of refocusing on what's important, i.e. the children and family and things like that. There's been a lot of talk recently with viral videos going around, even some of our own videos, about sort of women of a certain age hitting a wall, not being able to find love sort of after heartbreak, or sort of dying alone, so to speak. So we just kind of want to talk about that. How hard is it to find love after heartbreak? How hard is it to sort of, or what are the possibilities then of finding love after a certain age, sort of women of 40 or women of 30? You know, there are certain ages that some people think, if you've got baggage, if you've got children, if you've got sort of past hurt from relationships and things like that, then you're sort of like a no-go area. So I think today would be a good idea to kind of address the ladies, even the men, but what are the possibilities? What is out there for us, for people, as in not in general, but, or not us, should I say, but yeah, people in general.
I think, obviously, I think we've been watching a lot of, we put out a video based on a certain presenter who has a talk show and has been addressing rating of females, and you know, at what age women get to a stage where it's really difficult not just to have relations with a male, but to actually have a relationship, i.e. marriage, after a certain age. Whereas at that same age, so I think he says like 35, he already says that's like the danger zone. And I mean, I'm in my 40s, you're in your 40s, early 40s, and we're, you know, in situations where we just want your feedback, really. We want to know if you are over 40 and you've managed to find a relationship, a companionship, and it's kind of the things that you've needed. Maybe you've had past relationships and they haven't fulfilled everything that you need now, because as we know, we're not the same people we were when we're 20. We've developed, we've evolved, we've grown, and the men have grown too. But I also think that men are they don't hit the same wall as us. I think a man in his 50s feels like there's something more to rekindle, and we'll look for someone who's much younger. Therefore, if they're going for a younger type female, you know, 25 up.
I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think obviously the presenter, what that sort of so-called hitting the wall at sort of 35 and beyond as a female also incorporates is the reproductive system.
Yeah, definitely.
Sort
when
of
it's
started,
dangerous
yes.
to have children.
So when you sort of get to sort of 35 onwards as a woman, we know that it is, you put yourself more, you put yourself more in danger by carrying a pregnancy, by sort of getting pregnant in the first place, complications for yourself and the baby. So I think that's the kind of thing men obviously don't necessarily have to look at those things. Men in their 40s, men in their 50s are still quite capable, if anything, without health complications, to have a child, to reproduce. But yeah, for women it becomes sort of that more danger zone. So that hitting that wall is you're likely to sort of have hurt from past relationships, i.e. have children, maybe have unsavoury, unfortunately, co-parents of your children that then come to that new situation, the health problems and all these sorts of things.
And I sorry to cut you, I want to say that there's so much truth in that. There is an age bracket, so to speak, for if you're going to be married or a relationship or have children for the first time. There definitely is the age factor there. I mean, there's no, I mean, we might talk and people say we have, you know, DMV, but it's not that. Men and women are just genetically different. We've been made different, and in the way in which we're supposed to populate the earth, we have different functions. So it's, we understand that, but we're saying, how do we work now in this world within it? Because we've both had relationships and had children. Our children are grown up, and we're just at a different point in our lives. We're not 20 looking for a house, a car, a marriage, you know, children, that kind of financial security, although that obviously will come with if you get into a serious relationship with someone. But just how do you even broach that? How do you even start that another chapter of your life if you've had a chapter with
because as much as people are mature sort of within age, I think there are some people of a higher age that actually don't want a serious relationship. They just want of want of a better word, sort of like a situationship or companionship. Then they want someone that they can be casual with without necessarily being tied down,
basically.
Basically. It's sort of like the no strings attached.
I think a lot of people get burnt in life, and that's where we go. It's like, if you get to 40, 50, 60 and are still looking for a relationship, what happens is you're going to get people who have a past. Now, if those people are stuck in that past, that's the challenge, because I think you can be renewed in yourself at whatever age. You could be ready for a relationship at whatever age. What I don't think you're ready for a relationship is when you're holding on to stuff that you haven't dealt with, you haven't let go of.
We talk a lot about healing, so that would be going in with what you just said, holding on to a lot of hurt from past relationships. Nobody's telling you to erase it from your memory as though it didn't happen. It's something that may have happened to you, but you need to heal, get over that, and deal with whoever you meet next, whether it's dating or looking to go into a relationship. Deal with that new person as though they were not the person that kind of hurt you, because they aren't, obviously.
No, definitely. And a lot of time, I mean, we always talk about accountability, and I think regardless of how your relationships in the past have been, how they've gone, how they've ended, you've got to take accountability for the part you played in it not going so well, or not going,
or prolonging it for as long as you did,
or that too, basically. And kind of knowing when to exit, and maybe not knowing when to exit. I think you've got to take accountability for how you have allowed other people to treat you. If you've allowed people not to see your worth, you've got to actually take accountability for it. Did you give too much? Did you not do enough? Did you not understand what that person needed from you? Did they not give you what you needed? But you actually need to go back to a point of self-love first.
I think even the kind of people that you tend to attract, I think if you are also always attracting narcissists, yes, people like empaths tend to attract narcissists, but look inwards, introspection, look where certain parts of you may be attracting these kind of people. I think, as you said, if you can work on yourself, sometimes you'll find that you might be a bit too open, or you might sort of run into things a bit too quickly. Sometimes, unfortunately, narcissists can sense these things, but you have to take accountability. Literally, as much as you might be a light-filled person, and lots of people are attracted to your warmth.
People will sap your energy.
But many people are attracted to your light and your warmth, but so are moths. No, seriously, so are moths. They are attracted to
insects.
Literally. So you might think, oh, I'm light, I'm warmth, I radiate all these things, I'm going to attract all the goodness that flows too. No, you'll also attract things that you don't want. No, literally. So sometimes in life, as old as you may get, you get to a point where you want more than just your casual sort of fling. But then there are people of that age that are still looking for that. So don't be under the assumption or the illusion that everybody of that age range are looking for seriousness.
Definitely.
Is looking for stability.
I think a lot of damage
security.
has been done. I think if you keep listening to, you've hit the wall, you're at the end,
you're a write-off.
Exactly. Your attraction is the younger people, they can get this. I think it kind of could do damage to your self-confidence and self-esteem. I think reality is one thing, but I think picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, actually listing what it is you can offer to somebody, what it is you're realistically
looking for. And don't be wishy-washy with what it is.
Right, and once you're clear with someone that that's what you need, and that person's clear with you about that's what you need, there's no reason why you can't find companionship, love even. And just on that point, I want to point out a book, because although we've watched The Other Presenter, which we've talked about a few times now, there's someone else who's another YouTuber, professional counsellor, professional speaker as well. And I've been delving into some of his YouTube videos, and actually I've just read his book. So it's Stephen Lebossiere. So some of you may have seen him on YouTube, and I've literally worked. It's like a kind of a workbook and I've worked through this book. It's called Finding Love After Heartbreak, Volume 1. There is a Volume 2. It's like a companion book, so you're supposed to use both at the same time. So the other book explains more of what's in this one, but this one gives you some tasks to do. And basically, it's called Finding Love After Heartbreak, but it doesn't actually get to the love part, because as he explains, it's a really good foundation of understanding where you are now, understanding other people go through hurt, other people have been exactly where you might be or where you have been and want a fresh start. And it's actually talking about that whole healing process you have to go through before you can even think about going out and looking for the person who you need, if you want to call it your soulmate, you know. Unfortunately, some people have got to an age where they haven't found their soulmate yet, which, you know, I think I've been fortunate enough to have found a soulmate, although I don't know if that's my soulmate forever and ever.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, we have to look at things now in a modern day, and understand that people change, people grow, and people grow to want different things out of life. And especially, I think, if you have had children young, your children grow up, you come to another chapter in your life, and people then start looking for love. But I think if even in your 20s, if you try to find love and you haven't worked through hurtful relationships, and I don't mean just love relationships, I mean if you've been through relationships with family members, if there's a mistrust, if you've been abused, all these things, you really have to work through them. And although I know I've worked through a lot of stuff, I've addressed a lot of stuff growing up, and in my adulthood, about my childhood and about my teenagehood and about my relationship when it was young, and all sorts of things, hurt, betrayal, you know, everything. When I picked this book up, there was one particular task, which is to make a list of everybody who has hurt you. And it could be mother, sister, daughter, son, you know, anyone, close friend, best friend, anyone who's hurt you. And not just a physical hurt, but anyone who kind of disappointed you, lied to you over the time. And if you've never said to that person, just make a list of the people who have hurt you. You've got to kind of look really deep inside, because we have a tendency to just airbrush over things.
To hold on to the hurt.
To hold on to the hurt. It makes us comfortable, actually. And it allows us not to be vulnerable to somebody new or to other new friendships, relationships. And boundaries and all these sorts of things. Yeah, because when we're talking about love after heartbreak, it's not just a romantic partner.
Yeah, as in old new relationships.
It means making new friendships. It means, you know, widening your circle, making your social circle, and especially a time where socializing is so hard as it is. You know, connecting with people is tremendously
hard. And we have spoken before
So,
about healing and not just hopping, and that's not hopping from friendship to friendship, not hopping from job to job or relationship to relationship. Do the healing work first. Even if you're someone that sort of keeps changing jobs, what is it about you and your interpersonal relationships that makes you sort of rise to certain things in workplaces to the point where
you can't get on? Your communication skills, your interpersonal skills, all these, your emotional intelligence, how you read people, how you empathize. I mean, all the things we've talked about over the series of our videos. I mean, it's all work to be done, because you need to learn how to fix things as well. I mean, as a community, we talk about, you know, other people doing things to us, but we are so horrible to ourselves. Like, we don't stay, we don't fix things, we don't fix friendships, we don't ask for clarification, we don't confront people when they've done us wrong. And even if you don't confront them physically, it's a good idea to put it down on paper. If you feel like you cannot speak to a person about how they've hurt you, write them a letter. One you may never ever send, but write them an unfiltered letter about how they made you feel. Because if you don't forgive people for how you made them feel, that's you not forgiving yourself.
Yeah, you're just sort of holding on to it.
They're going to be fine. Like, they're going to go on in their life. But you're going to hold on to that hurt, and it's going to prevent you from ever being truly happy.
Do you know, another way to do that is not just to sort of write it down, is write it down, but write it from the perspective that you're giving advice to someone else. What would you tell somebody else to do in that situation? Like sometimes if you're sort of holding on to the anger or the hurt, you'll be writing things down. Exactly. So you'll sort of be still writing things down, how it makes you feel, but how you want to react.
No, but I think at the first, I think you should maybe do 2. And this is what the book suggests.
Okay.
You do what the first draft is an unfiltered, you just get down exactly that. Then the second draft you write is from that perspective, from a perspective that's subjective. Okay. Because I think you have to go at it first, because you have to feel the hurt. Yeah. You have to allow yourself to feel the pain that other people have done to you. And I'm not saying everyone's in pain, because some people will get to their lives when they're 40 and this is the first time they're going to find a relationship. But I'm talking about people who do have to heal from things before they can move forward. Well, that you have to allow yourself that room, that time, and that patience with yourself to be upset with yourself or to be upset with the other person. Yes. But don't dwell, as we always say. But
then as you said, maybe a secondary or a third sort of letter after that is then say, what would I tell somebody in that same situation? Because when you compare the advice that you would give to yourself and the advice that you would give to somebody else, sometimes you find that you're kinder in the advice that you give to somebody else than you are to yourself.
That's definitely true. And it does boil down to self first. I mean, as we've said before, self-love is the ultimate. If you can be by yourself and be happy, be peaceful, feel joy, feel wellness, feel wholeness by yourself, then you're more than ready, and someone will benefit from,
because someone is not supposed to come in and give you these things. Someone's not supposed to come and give you peace, give you love, give you comfort, give you these things. You're supposed to already have them for yourself, within yourself. They're supposed to just add to that, to complement that. But you're supposed to already have worked on these things and continue to work on these things, because healing is, as we've always said, it's not a destination. It is a continuous journey, just like learning about yourself, learning to love yourself. These are all continuous things that you have to keep going through life, through life's obstacles and hurdles. If you want to become a better person, if you want to be able to bring a wholeness to the table, you do not want to go around damaging other people, and you have to heal so you do not keep damaging the next and the next and the next, because once you do that, you're then sending them back out into the world damaged.
It's like a domino stroke basically effect.
Yeah.
And I think we need to kind of stop that, rein it in.
The cycle needs to stop somewhere.
Yeah. So as our usual disclaimer, we are not counsellors, we are not relationship advisors. We are sisters who love to share our experiences, love to share what we've learned, love to share the resources that are available that have helped us, and to promote other YouTubers that, you know, maybe do have the qualifications to give you that professional support, but to know that you are not out here alone, sisters, brothers. There are lots of us who are working through things. Most of us should be working through things, because if you ain't working through something, you're stagnant. And that ain't good.
You're denying something.
So I mean, we all kind of strive for happiness, but we also, you know, we've done an attitude about gratitude video, and I think if you look at things from perspective of gratitude, if you try and be positive about all the things you do have and you are blessed with, and if you focus on the positive more, I mean, you're going to have negative days. We're all human. Like, you have to give yourself a break sometimes. But try to even have a couple days where you say nothing negative. You don't associate with negative people. You don't watch the news, especially now with what's going on. And just have a kind of a cleanse, a detox, and just feel yourself. You know, listen to your music, fill yourself with positive energy, because that energy is what people ultimately connect with. Your energy is what people ultimately receive, and that's what you transmit. And I mean, there's lots of talk about you know, if you're not a size A, if you're not this, you're not 5'8", or you know, there's so many different things, and everybody has, I mean, you have to have physical attraction when it comes to relationships. Let's not get it blurred. But if your energy is good, your smile is beautiful, you are good inside and outside, you'll radiate. You will radiate whatever it is that the person you actually are. People of all shapes, sizes, nationalities, everybody is capable of finding love. But the component is you've got to love yourself first, because otherwise you're going to be too needy for the person who you're going to encounter, and that neediness neediness, is that a word? That need to be needed is what ultimately is going to shorten your relationship, and that insecurity that will come with you not loving yourself and knowing your own self-worth will be the destruction in the end.
Yes. And I think, just a quick disclaimer as well, I think whether you have children, haven't had children yet, cannot have children, are trying to have children, doesn't make you any less of a woman. Obviously we've talked about, and just tying in with what some of the others advisors
if you're a man
been,
who cannot have children, you know, there is someone out there for you.
Exactly. It's not that, you know, anyone in any of those brackets doesn't make you any less of. It just means, just be realistic in what you are seeking, what you bring to the table, and obviously you cannot force your lifestyle or your past choices on somebody else.
No,
but it doesn't make you any less of.
I think we have to be transparent when we're seeking out a partner. We have to tell them exactly our capabilities and the things we're incapable of giving and doing. And I think that honesty and upfrontness, I mean, when you're courting, you know, there's all the bravado and there's all the innuendos about, you know, getting to a point, but we have to kind of make plans beforehand. I mean, the day of making mistakes and going into things we didn't actually know what the person was like, blah blah blah, cut it, because you can do your research. You know, like, come on, like, we can't say that, oh, we were young and dumb anymore.
It just happened.
It just happened. It was a mistake.
Now we know better. We have to do better, as we keep saying.
I think in that respect, we should have like listened to our parents when they said, you know, wait, court, that kind of relationship. Because if a man really likes you, if a woman really likes you, vice versa, they will wait for you to be.
They will put in the effort as well.
They'll put in the effort. Thank you. They will put in the effort. And you know when someone likes you. You know when it's worth taking that chance and becoming vulnerable. Without vulnerability, you actually are never going to find your true person, your true love. So you have to be ready to be vulnerable. And that takes a lot for some of us more than others.
Especially after hurt. It takes a lot to be vulnerable after you've been hurt. But so I think, to sum it all up, we are saying that you can most definitely find love after heartbreak. You can most definitely find love again after a certain age, no matter what age you are, no matter the circumstances. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on self before trying to jump, run or walk into something else.
Can I just say as well, on summary, I think a good question to ask yourself is, the person you want, that person who you think you can obtain or you want to obtain, what is it they're looking for? And then be that. Don't have an unrealistic expectation of, I'm going to meet someone who's, you know, you've got your checklist of this, this and this. But I'm not saying lower your standards, no, not by any means. But know what you want to a certain degree, but be realistic about that person, what they're going to require from you. And if you're that person, go ahead, have fun. I wish you a blessed life, you know. You will find them if you're working on you to match that person. But if you're not, and you're not matching up to that, then be realistic about the person that can be in your life then at that point. You know,
and it's okay to not have anyone in your life at certain points. It's okay to be by yourself. It's okay to have breaks. It's okay to work on self. It's okay to have something casual if that's all you're looking, but always, as consenting adults, lay your cards on the table. Give clarity, give the other person enough respect to know the situation in full, so they can make an informed decision if that's something that they want to get into.
Exactly.
Let's stop all this extra cunningness and this extra saying what you think they need to hear to get what you actually want, because in the long run, someone's going to come off of that hurt, someone's going to walk away with damage, and that damage passes on, as we said, until you're ready to just end the cycle. So it's fine to be alone until you've worked on self and you've got to a point where you are emotionally healthy enough to encounter others.
And don't be scared of dying alone. That phrase dying alone has got lots of people clucking around acting desperate. Like that's the worst version of yourself you can put out, is someone who is desperate. Like
just being with someone because you don't want to die alone.
If you can fulfill your purpose, if you have a dog, if you have a cat, and.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and there are, as long as you have friendships, relationships that are good and solid, don't be scared of that, because if you go into panic mode, if you go into a mode where you're trying to put yourself out there to find someone to marry you, literally, instead of love magnets, you're going to be a love
You're going to be literally clutching onto anything and
and you're
everything and settling for things you don't want.
Who's not for you. So don't be frightened by that. I mean, there is a wall, there is a clock. We all have a clock. You know, I could go out there and something could happen to me tomorrow, God forbid.
Yeah.
But we don't know. So live in the best version of you every day and strive to get better.
And put the best version of yourself out there.
The person who's supposed to be with you, the people who are supposed to be in your life will be there. You are right here, right now, for a reason. You may not know what that reason is now, but there is a reason. And I think we all look forward to the day where our smiles can be genuine again, where we can be happy again. And, you know, whether you get to your point through faith, through your family, through loved ones, through pets, through plants, through walks, through talks, through your partner, whatever you do, strive for that. Find what makes you happy in life. Find your hobbies, find your interests. Be an interesting person. You know, don't be bored, don't be lazy, don't be idle. Be the best version of you and you'll find everything you need.
Yes.
So, from sis to sis, take care of yourselves and love hard. Go hard. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.